What's up you guys, Foamsmith here. So today I'm going to teach you guys two different styles of painting EVA foam. They're not the only styles, there's other ways to do it, there's other products that you can use, but I'm going to show you guys one of the cheaper ways, one of the easiest ways, and it's honestly the techniques that I usually use the most myself when painting. So I'm going to teach you guys two styles. One is dry brush and the other is airbrush. So the first thing you gotta do is you gotta seal your foam with Plastidip. I already pre-coated two sample pieces with Plastidip so they would be dry in time. It doesn't really matter what color you use. Plastidip is just like a rubber coating that you're gonna apply onto the foam to seal it so it doesn't absorb the paint. After you apply the Plastidip, once it's dry, you're going to apply a few coats of gloss black spray paint. I specifically personally like using the Rust-Oleum 2x Ultra Cover Paint and Primer. This isn't an ad, they're not sponsoring me, but this is like the, this is the one that I like to use the most. So a few coats of this, and then for the airbrush, I'm using a Spaz Sticks, that's the brand, Ultimate Mirror Chrome airbrush paint. And for the dry brush technique, I'm going to use Folk Art Enamels Sterling Silver. Okay? So I'm going to pause the video and I'll get right back to you. Okay, so this can get pretty toxic. So if you have a ventilation mask or a gas mask or something like that, please use it, especially if you're in a closed area. So I'm going to put my mask on. For the sake of the video, I'm going to kind of keep it up. But the first thing that you want to do is you want to apply the black gloss, like the gloss black spray paint. You want to give it a few coats. I usually wait like 30 seconds and then apply a few more. Okay, so once the gloss black is dry, we start painting. I'm going to start off with the dry brush technique, where you're just going to dab the brush lightly on the paint, then just keep dabbing until you barely have any paint on it. Something like that. See? And you just lightly brush over the foam. Now this paint, I actually accidentally left it out for a bit, so I'm going to add a little bit more because it's a little too dry. You add very little at first, and then you just start adding more until you're comfortable with the look. Now when you do dry brush, I usually do this more for like stuff that I want it to look more like brushed metal rather than something really clean. If you want something clean, I would recommend probably like the airbrush or something like that. Start adding more. And this is the reason why it's going to look like brushed metal, because you're actually just brushing it on. Try to always go in one direction so it looks like you've brushed it with an actual wire brush. So you give it that brushed metal look. Now it's very important to add the gloss black underneath, because that way, wherever you don't get silver, you get a nice shading. And it's less weathering that you have to do if you want to make it look old. This technique, it does take a little practice. Right now I can probably do a much better job, but for the sake of the video, I think this is good enough. Okay, so this is sterling silver. I'm going to put this to the side. I'm going to set up my airbrush, and I will show you guys what it looks like when you're actually painting with an airbrush. Okay, so I have my airbrush stuff set up. Shaking the paint. This is Spazstics Mirror Ultimate Mirror Chrome. Air compressor is full of air right now. I'm going to pour a little bit of this into this. Should be enough. Close it up. Just gonna pour it in. Pour it in. Alright, should stop now. Okay, so I got more paint on my fingers than I have in here. So now what we're gonna do is take this, right? And you're just gonna lightly from far away. The closer you get, the harder the lines, and the more chances you have of the paint running. So you want to keep it farther away, and just light strokes over it like that. Try not to focus on one spot for too long, because you might get dots or just imperfections and unevenness in the paint. So try to like move it around constantly and try to get even layers all over the piece. Now, like I said, this is more for like cleaner stuff. Sorry, the compressor's getting more air. This is more for like cleaner jobs. So this is what it kind of looks like at the end. It will get a little bit darker once it's fully dry. So that rough stuff that you see here and here, that's actually from the foam itself, which wasn't smooth enough. I had actually sanded it, and it left a little bit of pores there. And then the plastic, I sprayed it too close, so it did make sort of like a texture on top of that. But this part right here was pretty smooth. It was pretty nice. So just, you know, the plastic does take a little bit of practice to use, but once you get it right and you can spray an entire piece that looks like this, again, I can do a better job. I'm doing this quickly for the sake of the video. But yeah, this is basically what it looks like with an airbrush. And this would be a dry brush. Clean, old, and scratched. So yeah, that's how I usually paint my props. Alright, so that's how I paint my props. That's the two main techniques that I use. I use a dry brush technique and I use an airbrush technique. The dry brush is for props that are supposed to look older and scratched up, and the airbrush I usually use for stuff that are supposed to look a little cleaner. And that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be posting the plastic dip, the paints, the airbrush that I use, and all that stuff on my Amazon storefront. So if you guys want to check it out, if you guys want to use the same stuff that I use, you can always go to Amazon through my link. It'll help me out. I truly appreciate it. So until next time, I hope you guys liked it. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it helped, and I really hope it got you crafting. Peace out.